Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Live with David Lewis. I am your host, David Lewis, and we've got a great show for you today. Let me just adjust my camera a little bit here. I want to welcome everybody. I got a big group here today. Today, we're going to start a three-part series. I hope everybody can hear me. A three-part series on phone ups. And today I want to start with understanding the customer. This is a really, really important part. Obviously, and by the way, today's Friday, March 4th. We're still in our pandemic situation with inventory. Inventory's low. I know we're selling everything, but people still deserve to have the right processes and they deserve to be treated properly. So they are still calling the dealership. We're still, have to go through what we need to make a great experience for our customer. So, what is the number one rule of a phone up? And it really is to have the right goal. I mean, you've got to have the right goal when a customer calls you. What is the right goal? The right goal is to get the caller to come to the dealership. The wrong goal is to set an appointment. Why is that the wrong goal? Because you can set an appointment and then the customer never shows up. And then you have failed at your goal, which is to get the caller to your dealership. Now, there are two rules of phone ups. One is phone ups are like a bank account. Okay. You make deposits before you can make withdrawals. If you don't have any money in the bank, you can't make a withdrawal. So the first thing you have to do when you have a phone up is you have to make deposits. When you make deposits, then you can make withdrawals. So what are phone up deposits? And this is really important. Phone up deposits are getting your customer to relax, to release their defensive postures. It's to create an environment that removes the fear that people have. Keep something in mind. Most people that call your dealership are at the end of their shopping process. They've done their preliminary work. They've been online. They've gone to websites. They know what they want. So they're technically calling your dealership for two reasons. Reason number one is to gather information, price, availability, colors, options. That's one of the goals. It's one of the reasons why they call. It's not the main reason. The second reason why they call is to size you up as a salesperson, to see if they feel comfortable coming to your dealership. See, most people already know you've got what they want if they go to your website. Now they have to decide, do they want to go and spend time with you? So in order to get them to open up to do that, you have to make deposits. And deposits are going to be those warm and fuzzy statements that you state. For example, what should you not do? Well, we don't want to do anything that creates a pressure environment for the customer. Excuse me, I'm having a contact issue this morning. You don't want to make any comments, questions, or statements that will get customer more defensive. So, for example, let me give you a great example. One of the worst things you can say, and I had this happen the other day, is, can I get your phone number in case we get disconnected? The customer knows why you're asking that question. It doesn't make logical sense. You already have their number 99% of the time. It's come through on a caller ID. If they want to give you their number, they'll give you their number. Questions like, your best pricing is when you come to the dealership. When can you come to the dealership? What's your buying timeline? Is there anyone else involved in the buying decision? See, this is what the caller is searching out to see if they're going to feel comfortable coming to you. So you've got to make statements that release their defensive posture. You've got to answer their questions and answer their questions timely and considerately. So when they start asking questions, it lowers their defensive posture. Most people are eventually going to come to the dealership. Yes, do some people buy the cars over the phone? Absolutely. And they'll do the whole process over the phone. It used to be the exception. It's getting more and more as we go along. But we have to remember that most people are still coming to the dealership. So why are they calling? They are calling to gather information and to size you up. Once you have made these warm and fuzzy statements, then you can get a withdrawal. And that withdrawal is going to be to get an appointment that they will actually show up for. You have to be unique and different. You have to use terms like informational gathering. So when they ask about vehicles, you answer their questions. If you want to now if it's now time to ask them to come to the dealership, you might say, listen, I at this time would recommend a visit to our dealership. Now, when people come to our dealerships, we view all initial visits as informational gathering events. We know you're still in the shopping process. We'd like to show you our cars. You're welcome to drive some of them and allow us to give you all the pricing information so you could take it home and think about it, digest it, and compare it with the other dealerships you're going to go to. This lowers the customer's defensive posture. That's when your withdrawal comes in, where you can now secure and solidify an appointment. So, what are bad questions asked? Let me just go through my notes. When you ask these bad questions, nobody believes you. You lose credibility. You sound like everyone else. And if you ask too many bad questions, you will not have enough deposits to make that withdrawal, and then they will not come to your dealership. Now, some facts about phone ups, and these facts have changed over the years. Used to be that the average customer would call 4 dealerships. Now it's down to 2 to maybe 3 dealerships. Most used to visit 3 dealerships. Now it's down to 1 to 1.5. I said earlier, when they call, they're at the end of their shopping process. Remember that. They're at the end, and what they're looking for. What they're actually in is the beginning of now their buying process, and that's very, very important. So we talked about why customers shop, and they want to find a salesperson they like. Remember now, there are 2 types of shoppers. I've got this down. There's type A, which are leaders, and type B, which are followers. Type A people believe you'll try to sell them a car they don't want. Type B believe you will succeed in selling them a car they don't want. However, both types are looking for the same thing. They do want a bi-directional dialogue. They want you, they're hoping that you are smarter than them and can give them the answers that they want to do. Now, why do you want a bi-directional dialogue? Bi-directional dialogue is obviously people talking back and forth, asking questions, answering questions. Well, a two-way conversation benefits both of you. It doesn't raise defenses. Two-way conversation does not increase their fear, and it removes the risks of coming to the dealership. Stay away from those trial closes. I don't care when the customer's buying timeline is. It's not important to me. Your goal is to get them to the dealership, not to create an appointment. Keep something in mind. If you create a defensive posture in these people, they will make an appointment with you, but they will just never show up. And then you're truly, truly going to be in a bad situation. Okay. Let's talk for a second about when people ask about trade, because this is a big thing now, and I'm hearing this all the time. Understand that obviously we don't want to give someone a trade number over the phone. That's not a beneficial thing for us because they're going to shop our trade. I know and I understand everybody's going to kvb.com, they're going to Vroom, they're going to Carvana, and they're giving them all these numbers. And yes, we are going to match most of these numbers, but people still want to get more for their car. When somebody asks me, what do you think my trade is worth? I get excited. I say, fantastic, you have a trade. What do you got? I listen to what they have. I make notes. I write it down. Fantastic. You have a 3-year-old sedan with 42,000 miles. It sounds fantastic. I always say something like, please tell me, is it white? And they say, yes, it's white. Perfect. We're looking for white ones. Is it white? No, it's not white. Great. We've got plenty of white ones. We're looking for a different color. Get them excited about their trade. I would ask them, are you up to date in your maintenance? Fantastic. How's the interior, the exterior condition? They're always going to say it's good. Fantastic. Are the tires in good condition? Yes, they're up to date. Fantastic. No check engine lights coming on. No, nothing's coming on. Great. I get them excited. Then I always ask them, obviously you have got a figure in mind. May I inquire? And most people now will spit it out. Not everybody, but some. Regardless of what number they tell me, I say the same thing. That's, to me, that sounds reasonable and realistic. When can we see your car? We'd love to buy your car. I want them in the dealership. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking. They're giving us an inflated number or a retail number. Yes, I agree with you. But keep 2 things in mind. I said it was realistic to me, not to my buyer. That's number 1. And number 2, will I pay somebody full retail for their car? Yes. If they buy my car at full retail. I've talked to you about this many, many times. People always say, well, we can't give them, KBB retail. Yes, you can if they're paying retail for their car. And that's important things. Don't ever ask questions. Remember, understanding your customer. Don't ask questions that's going to make them lie to you. That's why I never ask people what their budget is. Never, 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 never. I had that situation the other day where I was talking to a salesperson. I was listening to him, and he asked, what's your budget? And the customer gave a budget number, and he knew he could not get him into a car. But that wasn't their real budget. It was a lowball budget. Don't ask questions and make them defensive. I see a lot of you are popping in questions here real quickly. Keep in mind that callers are going to judge you within the first 10 seconds. That's what you got. You've got 10 seconds to make that first impression. Callers are looking for enthusiasm and energy from you. So when you take that call, stand up, exuberate over the phone. They can't see your face or body language. They can only hear your tone of voice. Callers want their questions answered. I told you about callers don't want to be ignored. Callers want to know you're listening. Listen. I know that I have a problem listening. I try very, very hard. So when I'm on the phone with a customer and they're asking me questions, they're trying to get information, I don't talk. And what I do is I pause 3 seconds and I literally count out 1, 2, 3. 3 seconds of silence, then I talk again. They don't want to be ignored. Callers are less forgiving over the telephone. Callers, they don't like to be put on hold. Don't put anybody on hold. Okay, don't. If you don't know the answer, ask their permission to get back with them in 15 minutes with an answer. What is the best contact number for you? Best way to do that. Okay, callers, they expect you to know your inventory and they expect a high degree of professionalism. Now, let me go over one other thing with you. Some people are going to demand a price from you. And I understand. Do not give prices over the phone. You're never going to, and you need to get that caller's contact information. So what I always do is I say, fine, I would be happy to get you the information. What is your cell phone number? And I will text you the pricing. Well, can you tell it to me over the phone? No. Can you email it to me? No. Here's the reason why. It can be either misconstrued or it can be manipulated. Nobody can manipulate my text message. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a text message with the stock number. I'm going to tell you the price, the payment, and I'm going to give you an expiration date of how long it's good for. So if you come into my dealership and I'm not here within that period of time, all you have to do is show your cell phone to anybody else here at the dealership, and we will honor that price. There will be nothing else but that price. Don't say, well, other dealerships will give you a price, then they'll change it when you come in. Don't badmouth somebody else. Just tell them how good you are at what you do, and that's going to make them have confidence in you. Remember, you're trying to make deposits so that when it comes time, you can make that withdrawal. Okay, I'm going to jump to some questions because there's a bunch of them coming in. Don wants to know, do you think it's a good idea to give prices over the phone? No, okay, you sent that in about 10 minutes ago. So no, I don't give prices over the phone unless I absolutely have to. All right, Frank the car guy wants to know, we have a process at our dealership that requires us to hang up with the customer to check if the vehicle is actually available. This is how we get their phone number. I told you that again. It's okay. I'm okay with that as long as you tell them why you're doing this and that you will get back to them in 15 minutes. Dell wants to, what's that one? I can't read your thing here. Dell wants to know, do you think it's a good idea to ask the customer what they think their trade is worth? Yes. Oh, I see. There's a second part of this. You say yes. Our manager says no. Okay, Dell, face to face, I don't ask. Over the phone to drive them into the dealership, I ask, because that's the number I'm using to drive them into my dealership. Keep something in mind. If somebody calls you and wants to get the trade, wants to get a value on a 3-year-old sedan, they're calling 2 or 3 other people. They're also probably going to either try to avoid it, drive them into the dealership, or they're going to give them a number. Nobody's going to give them a number equal to the number they're going to spit out of their mouth. That's why I then say, I get them all excited about the trade, And then I ask them, you obviously have a figure in mind. May I ask what that is? Great. You know what? That doesn't sound unreasonable, unrealistic to me. We would love to buy your car. When can you come in? Angela, how would you handle someone who is rude and being a jerk on the phone? Well, Angela, I've always given you guys the way I feel. I would probably end the conversation. Okay. I don't get paid enough for someone to be rude and disrespectful to me. I might say, look, at this time, I really think you need to speak with a manager. Can I transfer you to one, or can I get a number, have them call you right back? I don't come to work that people be rude and disrespectful to me. I can tell you that right now. Chrysler conference room. I'm a BDC manager, and I've taught my agents to always capture the phone number and or email us right away so they can lock it into our system. Can you explain why you disagree with this? Chrysler conference room, I grossly disagree with this. If I call your dealership and I ask you, do you have a specific car in stock? And the first words out of your mouth are, what is your email and what is your cell phone number? No matter how you ask it, my defensive posture goes way, way, way up. And I am not, I'm going to give you a fake email address, is what I'm going to do. Or I'll give you one of my email addresses that I never, ever, ever go to anymore. It just doesn't matter. You haven't made enough deposits to make a withdrawal. You'll get that later on. If you've captured the customer, you'll get that information later on. I'm a huge, huge believer in video. So a lot of times what I do in my conversation when I'm getting near the end, maybe I can't get the appointment. I might say, listen, could I make a quick video of the car that we're talking about and send it to you on YouTube? Sure. Well, somehow they've got to get the video. I'd say, well, great. Do you feel comfortable with giving me your cell phone number and I will text you this video? And some say yes, some say no. It depends how many deposits I have in my bank to ask for that withdrawal. If I've gotten their defenses down low enough, I have enough money to withdraw to get their cell phone number. Some might say, no, here's an email. So I can get it at some point or another. All right, let me take one more and then we're going to wrap up. Let me just see. Oh my gosh. Okay. David wants to know, what do I do when the caller is asking for a figure on their trade that we haven't seen? I've always been told that we should tell them that their best bargaining chip is when they're here in person. Okay, we talked about that again. Don't ask people other than getting them excited about their trade and what they think their trade's worth. Folks, this is only part one of our three-part series. I want you to understand the customer's frame of mind here. They are calling you for a reason. If they wanted to come to the dealership, they would have come to the dealership. They can go on your website, see you have the car available, and come on in. But they're not. They're calling. Why are they calling? Yes, they want to confirm it, but they're calling to size you up, to make sure that they feel comfortable with you. If you start in with these questions, what's your phone number in case we get disconnected? What's your timeline for buying a car? Listen, this car's only going to be here for the next 24 hours. I only have 2 of them in stock. It's pressure, and that pressure doesn't win the game. And remember, your goal is to get them to the dealership. Sure, every once in a while, if you put that pressure on it, they might give you a deposit over the phone and buy it over the phone because it's the only one you've got. I get that. But respect the customer, lower those defenses, earn the right to ask to get them to the dealership, and they will come. I hope that's the biggest thing you take out of today's session. So there's like 18 more questions here, I believe. So I'm just going to respond to everybody via email. I'll answer all your questions. For those of you that are going to NADA next week, I will be there. I look forward to seeing everybody there. It's going to be a lot of fun. I am doing a workshop. I'm a presenter there again this year. It is on a fixed ops topic, but we will have our booth, and I wish you all would come by if you're going to be there and say hello. So thanks all for joining me today, and I'll see you again in 2 weeks, and we're going to do part 2 on phone ups. Bye-bye, everyone.